Welcome to the analysis of the plot, characters, and setting in the novel The Horse Dealer's Daughter by D.H. Lawrence. So, first of all, let's talk about a little bit of the author, who was D.H. Lawrence. As a world-class literary craftsman, D.H. Lawrence had done monumental contributions to British literature as well as world literature. This man was not only a novelist but also a story writer, critic, and painter. At the beginning of the 20th century, great changes had taken place in almost every aspect of British society. With the rapid development of mechanical technology and modern science, the traditional rural society was inevitably influenced by these changes. People's inner words, be of value, be your life, are also changing imperceptibly. The balanced relationship between human and nature had gradually lost. Emotion, desire, and instinct of people at the time were distorted. This kind of distortion mainly embodied the sharp transformation of the relationship between man and woman. The brand new living environment drove them into a tenser and tenser relationship where, meanwhile, they also became the victim of the new environment. Just influenced by that transitional age, Lawrence had put the brunt of age on the figures of his works, in a number of works written by him. The relationship between men and women are quite peculiar, sometimes even repressive. These characters often bore a split spirit and transfiguration of personality. Under certain circumstances, the conflict between men and women would be continuous, never stopping. The author was rather good at describing the psychological changes to the describing of certain characters in his works. Lawrence presented us with a vivid portrait of people's inner world, exactly speaking, highly symbolized, but involved readers in deeply thinking. The short story The Horse Dealer's Daughter is not an exception. As you may know, this short story was worked in class, so let's remember real fast the synopsis of the short story. So, this is about the unfortunate destiny of Marvel, the horse dealer's daughter, and she was a stubborn, silent, but strong-willed woman. She was cold in appearance, however warm in heart. The horse dealer, who was Marvel's father and final pillar, died and left the whole family nothing but a large amount of debt and threatening. Among the 4 children of the family, the 3 brothers of Marvel were all frightened at the collapse of the family and the sense of disaster in which they were involved left them no in of freedom. They were eager to find a way out for themselves without anyone caring about Marvel. What's more, they planned to expel Marvel from the family. Of course, she felt desperate and decided to commit suicide in a pond. But, fortunately, our second character, our most important second character, happened to be saved by Ferguson, a doctor of the village. The depressed girl suddenly found that Dr. Ferguson was the very person she was looking for. At last, when they seemed to be falling in love with each other, however, Mabel was confused by Dr. Ferguson's hesitation and uncertainty of love. This blog tries to have a detailed analysis on the short story from the perspectives of setting, characters, point of view, and even the plot. So we are going to do this in just a few minutes, and we're going to talk about the predetermined destiny of Marvel and the intention of the author and how this can be best illustrated. Okay, so to start, from the story we can know that Marvel used to live in a rich family. The house was ample, the furniture was luxurious. Ordinarily speaking, the whole should have lived an easy, comfortable life. But Owens depicted a different vision. The dreary dining room, with its heavy mahogany furniture, looked as if it were waiting to be done away with. Lawrence described the dining room as dreary, the heavy mahogany furniture as heavy, looked as if it were waiting to be done away with. All of this setting transferred us a piece of information that is the glorious and sufficient life had been history. Moreover, the setting symbolized destiny of poor Mabel would be the same as the dining room and furniture, waiting to be done away with. Although Mabel seemed to be healthy and physical, however, her inner world was empty as the ample house. She could do nothing to transform the current situation except waiting for the sentence of destiny. When describing Mabel decided to commit suicide, Lawrence had a careful illustration of the setting. The night was falling, it was grey and wintry with a slow, moist, heavy coldness sinking in and deadening all the faculties. The setting set up a type of mysterious and horrible atmosphere, providing proper environment for the following plot, the suicide of Mabel. This was arranged in such a background to strengthen the tragic destiny of Mabel as well as emphasize, of course, the theme of the short story. The expectations of the reader will also be aroused. In the short story, more information about Mabel will be better understood. The character of Mabel was more concrete and vivid. So, with the Collette's family, Mabel completely became the ignored role in the family. Her three brothers slanderously nicknamed Mabel as the sulkiest bitch. She had long been serving for the family, but no one understood her and helped her. The only person she loved was her beloved mother. The great contrast between ideal and reality caused her the idea of joining her mother. Under the situation, Mabel chose to drown herself to get rid of endless pains. But she was saved by Dr. Ferguson, and the love buried in the bottom of her heart was once again aroused by the kind-hearted doctor. Meanwhile, this doctor seemed also to fall in love with Mabel. Love which he should have come to an end. At this very moment, the hesitant attitudes of Dr. Ferguson made Mabel involved in the uncertainty of her love and life once again. To Mabel, although she had the same demanding like any other woman, it seemed that her destiny was always making game of her and never gave her what she craved for. But we have already talked too much about Mabel. Let's talk about Ferguson. He was a kind-hearted doctor with extremely high professional moral. He saved Mabel from drowning and gave her the vow for life. Facing the Mabel's love, he understood and stared at her, fascinated. His soul seemed to melt. On one hand, he saved Mabel mainly out of the profession institution of a doctor. Even if facing the native body of Mabel, he did not get any after-sense idea, but helped her out of danger. Maybe he never thought of loving Mabel or not before. On the other hand, he was shocked by Mabel's frankness. Ferguson didn't predict that Mabel would show love to him. In order not to let her down, Ferguson in a world sacrificed a word, love or not. He hesitated between a doctor and a man. Finally, he kissed Mabel, but the conflict between the social ego and consumption ego never stopped. From beginning to end, Lawrence always took a Freud, neutral, seeming acquiescent to the faceless treatments and to the fascist ideal of supermanhood, glorifying the brute, the violent, as a statement of human power. The writer speaks of his own words, his very own. Just influenced by his misogyny, the whole story permitted with the distinguished feature of Lawrence. The description of Lawrence was just like telling us a baby story without any showing any sympathy or making any private comments. So Lawrence gave every one of us a full trust in our appreciation, imagination, ability to all of us could understand the essence of the story through his meticulous description. In his subjective but skillful depiction, the vivid image of Mabel was presented in front of us.